You good?
Welcome to the Zodiac chat line for our full moon in Aries special show. All the shows are special. It's not really a special. I just said that because, well, whatever. We're living in those times. Anyways, I'm your host today. And of course, I have Cassie with me. As always, Cassie girl, how are you today?
Ooh, a loaded question. My body feels good today. Um, my household is peaceful today. Beyond that, I'm, I don't know. How about you?
Taking it one day at a time. First of all, yeah, I love how the water sign gave us all the feelings. Um, you know, yeah, one day at a time because what is happening? Where are we? Who signed up for this simulation? If there is a person controlling this simulation, who told you to pick this hard level? Can you
Yeah.
can you
Customer service. Customer service,
I
please.
decline coverage. I decline coverage. I'm just kidding. But we'll get to that. Anyway, let's tell you what's going on with the planets because, we want to know that. So, of course, shout out to all the pretty girls, aka it is still Libra season. So the sun is in Libra. Full moon in Aries is going to happen on October the 6th. Very late if you are on the East Coast. It's almost close to midnight. It's about 11:48-ish, to be exact, is when the full moon is at its fullest. But I'm sure if you step outside right now, it is full. Mercury joins, or sorry, Mercury moves into Scorpio on the same day as the full moon. That is October the 6th. Venus is in Virgo for about another week. And then on the 13th, Venus will move into one of her other home signs, Libra. We love that, especially now. We need little more, a little more love, a little more diplomacy, if you will. Mars is in its ruling sign of Scorpio, and that's showing its true colors. Jupiter's in Cancer, yay, expanding all the things. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Uranus is retrograde in Gemini. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. And although Pluto is still retrograde in Aquarius, we are seeing the end of this. This retrograde started back in May of this year, May 4th to be exact. So on October the 13th, Pluto will go direct. So we should see some more interesting collective movements as we've been witnessing very, very, very recently. Lots and lots all over. It is no longer just a United States global collective movement. We are noticing that globally, folks is getting it together and letting their voices be heard, which we love. And of course, the North Node is still in Pisces. Well, um, back to what we were talking about with the collective movements. So Pluto in Aquarius, full moon in Aries, Mars in Scorpio. That just sounds intense. You know,
Yeah.
um, as an Aries moon, the moon in Aries is not the most calm placement you could have, okay? It's a little impulsive. It's quick to feel, quick to burn out too. But Mars and Scorpio, I think somebody I know has Mars and Scorpio.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you do.
You don't mess with them folks, okay? You leave them folks alone. Cause they play
Yeah,
the long, long game, okay? The long game. And that revenge is, whoo, Jesus, Lord,
it's
help us
coming.
now. You
It's
know?
coming. Yeah, yeah. It's it's a very deep-seated and like primordial rage kind of placement. And I think like I'm thinking about
I should
this.
flash him back.
Yeah, right. Um, as Pluto moves direct, I think we've had these few months between May and now as individuals within this collective to evaluate where we belong and what collectives and communities we care about and want to help thrive. Or I hope that people have had the chance to do that. And I will be interested to see um, what ways after Pluto moves direct that we start to materialize and show up in collective ways, especially that are tied to long held injustices and I don't want to say revenge. I don't want to say retribution necessarily, but like,
Riding the ship.
yeah, I hope so. I think
Yeah.
that I think at its best it definitely will be that. I worry about or not worry, I don't know. There's two sides to this, right? And so I think that I'm trying to think about how this energy is also going to manifest on the side that we know is out fucking shit up all around us and all over the world they exist. And I feel like that's the like jealousy part of Scorpio, right? And like I don't know, like I don't understand why people can't just let people live.
Why y'all so mad?
Why are you so mad?
Yeah, it's
You
like
have everything. Like what else do
you
you
have an
want?
entire everything and a system you built, and you still mad.
You're still
And I think you're mad because the people that you thought were gonna get mad didn't. And I speak for all the POCs and the brown folks. We chilling because you're not gonna shoot us in the streets. No, no. You're not gonna get us mad at the same cyclical things that we continue to watch happen over and over again. There, I don't know. I don't feel that we'll ever live in a world without racism or prejudice or hatred. I just don't. Um, I I would hope that those people that do feel that way will find their way to each other and leave the rest of us alone. Because you can hate people if you want to. I mean, I guess that's that's your prerogative, but life's really short. And if that's how you want to spend your time, that's fine. But as Cassie said, what is your collective doing? Like, you can't change people's race. It's like you can't change that about folks. You can be mad, but you can't do anything about it.
yeah. I
Black
read
people,
an art
everybody's still gonna exist.
right? Like I recently read an article, think also in The Guardian. We were talking about that earlier. But it was written by an ex um white supremacist, like neo-Nazi guy. And he said the moment that he realized the collective he was part of was bullshit was when he like turned to somebody else and said, "Hey man, what happens if we win? Like, what happens when we win the race war, you know?" And the other guy laughed and he's like, huh, then it's gonna move on to hair color or something. And it's like, the guy was like, it, there's no, there's no, there's no end game here. We get to live in peace and fucking chill here. Racism's not a real mission, but people are real fucking activated by it and real animated by it. And like you said, go fucking to the woods and have your fucking weird little commune or whatever you want. Leave everybody, nobody else has to be involved
They're
in it.
not gonna
You
bother you. I promise
whatever
you, we're not coming. We don't give a fuck. Like,
right?
nobody is coming to go, let me go harass these racist people. Because what I do notice is that people with the most hatreds are usually the most aggressive, and they're the ones approaching, telling somebody and policing in their own ways what they think is correct because they're superior. But who the fuck made you Queen Sheba? That's like,
Yeah.
that's what I always say. Like, why? And I hate to break it to you white people. Some look, my real white friends, they already know, so I don't care. But for the rest of you white people, you clearly are not superior. The sun hates you. We should just start there. Anyway, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, and honestly, underneath all these skin suits, if you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person, regardless of what you look like. And you like people that go out and harass people and for those of you who don't know how to read, the shutdown that is happening in the government has nothing to do with illegal immigrants getting health care because they can't. It's not true. That is the one thing that's been really crazy about Pluto in Aquarius, about when we had Saturn, just technology, AI, propaganda. Nobody wants to read a book anymore. Nobody wants to cross check facts because the president's on, you can't fact check me. Like, well, then, so we go with lies or made up that again, we are in a time where you need to check yourself, your community, your collective, check your friends. If they say something crazy, be like, are you okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm speaking as an Aquarian. This is about humanity. This is about humans and human beings, everybody who has a breath. Okay. We all got here. The strongest sperm survived and we all made it. Okay. Some of us probably should have been swallowed, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Anyway, okay. All I'm saying is that there has been, Cass and I have talked about this for the past couple weeks, a massive amount of collective movements around the world. And while we see this big, I really feel like that MAGA movement is shrinking. I think more and more people are being like, wait a minute, what did I actually sign up for? Oh, I signed up for my own demise. Because a lot of the people that are going to be affected live in rural towns. They live in an area where they're going to close hospitals. So just just listen, okay? So in the past couple weeks, Nepal's youth, okay, because the youth will set us free. I need y'all to know the youth is them Gen Zs and Gen Alphas. They don't care, okay? They don't care about how your feelings. They don't care about nothing. They're gonna tell you what it is. So the youth in Nepal overthrew their government through a Discord chat and elected a new president. Okay, youth in Nepal. I need everybody who lives in United, just hear me out. Okay. Let's see. Spain has protested. Students in Spain protested for Gaza, abandoned their classes about a week ago. Italy increased their protests. I think they went on strike, trying to shut their country down. Um, who else was in this collective movement? We did see the flotilla get intercepted. Greta Gun Greta Thunberg
Thunberg. Hmm.
Thunberg. That child, she ain't even a child. I mean, she is kind of to me, but in general, she been doing this since she was like 11, 10, 13, something like this.
Something like that. Hmm.
That girl was born to be an activist, and she was like, I'm tell y'all right now. Um, along with Nafisa Collier, shout out standing up for the WNBA because you know we are a WNBA channel right here. We love the WNBA. She spoke out against the commissioner and said the commissioner said some fucked up shit. But Nafisa Collier also with Brianna Stewart started their own league. Again, they found their collective. They're like, we're gonna do this together. If you're not gonna respect us, we're gonna find a way somewhere where we are welcomed and respected. So we have a lot of collective movements, and I'm with Cassie. I think once Pluto goes direct, I feel like there's been a lot of underground collective movements that we did not know about that were really gathering their sources and their strength together while Pluto was in retrograde. I think this is going to be an interesting holiday season. I would encourage everybody to save your money
Mm.
and share it with your community, people who don't have food, who don't have the basic necessities, whether your neighbors, single moms who might need diapers, formulas. I would very much encourage you find your local food bank, because if any of this stuff happens, their food banks are going to lose some federal resources. So I would encourage you to. This should not be a consumerist holiday. We are not living in some times where consumerism should be celebrated at this point. We are living in some very, very dark times, even if we can't see it. Um, so this full moon is a time to take action in some ways, and especially in what you know is best for you and your collective. Remember, look, we always say, if you know your time, look up that chart. Where is Aries in your chart? What is being activated in this full moon? And go back to your new moon intentions for Aries. That was back on the 24th of March. So, yes, right after the spring equinox. Look and see what your intentions were and see where you are. For myself, I wrote down some questions and I felt really good that I was able to answer those questions in the 6 months. And it's really good to use that time frame when you're setting intentions and being able to like come back to it. Again, everything is a cycle. So see what that's about. But we do have good news. We do have good news because it's some really cool shit happening. I want Cassie to start off because I know she wants to talk about this one. Which one are you gonna talk about?
Um, Wait, I don't know which one you think I want to talk about because there's a couple, there's two. But I'm going to talk about Solange,
Okay.
Knowles in the spirit of examples of collectivism that can be put forth and how that can take different forms. And you guys, we are all tasked with being imaginative about how we can do better as collectives. Like, these systems don't work. We're not going to be able to go back to the 90s. We're not going to be able to go back to a normalcy that we all long for because that's what we know. But it's possible to build something even better if we can imagine it. So, anyway, to that end, Solange Knowles has launched a living archive for Black and Brown literary heritage called the Saint Heron Library. I didn't mean to be like, I wasn't trying to be snooty. It's that my Midwest instinct is to say Heron. So, um, but I think that's really important in this time. One, because like you said, we are engaging with information not in books, but in people talking to us directly to camera, often in ways where we have no real way of citing their sources. There's more and more deceptive and better propaganda out there that appears to be real news. You have to like quintuple check everything you consume on the internet. So going back to original source material, having physical books, visiting your local library and reading things, like super duper important. The I think I heard this is the first year since they started doing this survey where the average American has not read one book this year. And like I know for sure of people that I can think of who probably haven't read a book this year, and I could always have named people like that. And I know there are a lot of bibliophiles who like throw off the average, right? Because they read 300 books in a year or whatever. I get that, but like y'all, magazines, like stuff that's been published on a piece of paper because then somebody vetted it enough to at least feel comfortable putting it on a piece of paper, though it is possible to self-publish things. Anyway, so I'm excited about that. It's an important offering to the collective, an excellent resource if you get in there and find stuff that you can print out so you have copies of it later. Like, it is going to be important to preserve real information for the future times if we're so lucky to see them.
We hope. Um, the other great news is that Reading Rainbow is getting a reboot, and Michael the Librarian is going to be the new host. I think that is the perfect choice. Those of us boomer zennials love us some LeVar Burton. Okay. He was our Reading Rainbow. Okay. That's what we remember. But these new kids, they get Michael the Librarian. And his story is so it's heartwarming that he was able to get to this place because he was in a very bad place. I believe he lost his job as a librarian in right before COVID, and he was not mentally in a good place. And he has even spoken about not wanting to be around at that time. And I'm so glad that he got in front of his camera and continued to push reading. And look at what you do when you are your natural self. The universe always responds to you in the best kind of way, and he is the prime example of that. And so I'm looking forward to it. I just also saw a clip of the person who's actually singing the new theme song, because
Oh,
it I think it was Shaka Khan originally, back in the day.
oh, that sounds right. I'm not sure, but
But yeah, it's a young black art. I can't even think of her name, but shout out to Reading a Rainbow coming back, because again, reading is fundamental and it's necessary. And I did also quickly forgot to mention the other collective action is the FAFO of you going into a college class where people are paying money, and you choose to disrupt the class by doing Yahtzee things or very just rude. While these grown adults who are paying to learn, they decided, not today, sir. And about 200 students plus the professor followed, assisted this person out of that room, and the person ended up getting arrested. But again, like, why are you going in there? Like, you had nothing better to do? Go home. Go get a job. Do something.
don't masturbate. Like, fucking find a
That's it.
hobby,
That's it.
crochet, whatever, my guy. Um,
Um, and
it's
right.
I, you know, I I'm just gonna throw out there that I've seen a lot of talk, and I've had a lot of thoughts about being public, being vocal in this moment about what you believe in, and I think stuff like that. And then I saw Amanda Seals, who I love, we know this, stitch a video that was filmed in Chicago yesterday, maybe, or today, of some frozen water agents pulling a man out of his car and tackling him and trying to zip tie him. And a lot of people stood around filming and were like, hey, stop it, kind of stop it. And then one or two people got closer. This man fought for his life, kept throwing the zip ties away. And these ICE agents are scrambling, trying to get or frozen water, whatever. Who fucking cares? You know who the fuck I'm talking about. These fucking guys, goons, are trying to get this man, and eventually they gave up. Like, too many people from the crowd crowded around with cameras on them. They kept fumbling what they were doing because these are not
Because they don't.
highly fucking trained
It is Billy
commandos.
Joe
Like,
Bob and Daryl and Frank and Lance, who have a
yeah.
pickup truck and an SUV and too much free time on their hands. And
Yeah.
somebody told them you can go be a vigilante, and you who have no educational background can deem that these people are illegal. Who you're more illegal than they are, you dummy. All we're
Um,
saying, all
it,
we're saying.
but I'm just like the it part of what stopped those guys from ruining that man's life and potentially disappearing him to a country he never knew, or whatever, disappearing him to who the fuck knows, because these people are missing all over the place, is like people stepped in and people we're like, we're not going to go without taking record of the truth of what happened here. And like, not everybody has to get behind a microphone, get in front of a camera and say, a cab or whatever you want to say, like to be an instigator. But like, I do think it's important that people continue to tell the truth right now and publicly, because the more people do that, the more people feel like that's an important thing to do and that people are still doing that and we're still allowed to do that. And a reminder, all of this is made up. All of this is made up. So just do whatever the fuck you, whatever the fuck you're gonna do.
But
Sorry.
but you don't know somebody last straw, so don't roll up on the wrong person.
No, do no harm, but take no shit.
Oh no, I'm talking about them other folks. I'm talking about I
Oh, well, yeah, that I mean,
because the people that want to just live their life ain't rolling up on nobody. They're not the
right,
ones
right.
agitating. They're not the aggressors. They're just living their lives and want y'all to
Hmm.
leave them the fuck alone. I personally do. If you're not paying a bill in my house, please shut the fuck up. Seriously. Uh, and my condolences, not condolences, but just sympathies go out to the South Carolina federal judge. As it's reported, the house just caught on fire. That's how it's reported. But that house is burnt to the ground. So I don't know. Can't say allegedly. It could have been a non-accident. But it oddly enough happened after she denied the person who claims they won the election um, a judgment. And so she was getting death threats and all of that. And her house went up in flames while her and her family were in there. So it's just really interesting that everybody decides when political violence is okay and isn't okay. And the fact that we no longer can have rational, intelligent debates or conversations and disagreements without making somebody the bad guy, even though there is a bad guy. But there has to be some sort of adult decorum about this because how are you just mad and setting people's houses on fire? How are you just mad and rolling up on people? Or, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have any way to defend your point of view. And when I grew up, debating meant having some facts, having an actual point of view. That's first thing, have an actual point of view, and then being able to articulate why you believe in that point of view and what it is. Now people are just saying, well, so and so said this, or this is this or this. That lady didn't deserve that. Her kids, nobody deserves to have a house burned down just because you don't agree. That's crazy. Guys, that's crazy.
And it's like, um, you know, who it's always, oh, there's no place for political violence when it's, um, you know, a rich, conservative, straight white man, because, God forbid any violence should come upon that demo. Um, but like
That
this, and
causes
then
the
it's like,
most domestic terrorist violence.
who's who is worthy of public mourning? Who is worthy of our collective grief? Like, uh, there's no place for political violence. Like, tell that to every black person in this country who is the descendant of slaves. Like, this was within our parents and grandparents' lifetimes, you guys, that they were beating the absolute shit out of John Lewis to within an inch of his life on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Like, there's no place for political violence, huh? Because there's actually quite a lot of it about. The man who was getting fucking wrestled to the ground in the street in Chicago, having to throw zip ties away from fucking masked who the fuck knows. Like,
I can put on a mask.
there's like I have no desire to resort to violence. Let me
Right.
make that clear. I
Right.
believe that we can achieve a positive collective vision that doesn't involve a whole bunch of violence. But like, this country is incredibly fucking violent, and it has been riddled with political violence since before it was officially a country.
Political violence is why this country exists.
Right. It's a bit of our bread and butter, you
Right.
guys. And like, we just need to be more aware of what our history is and what our power is as a collective who refuses to stand aside and be silent in the face of
Mhm.
political violence. We do not have to make that choice. We don't have to be violent, but we don't have to be fucking silent either.
Yes, no, at all. There's no point in being silent. Why? If they're gonna be
They're
loud,
gonna
they can be
come
loud.
for you
Yeah.
anyway.
If you're
Like,
silent, they'll say you liked it. Who's I think was that Zora? Was that Zora Neale Thurston? Somebody said that, but they were basically saying your silence basically tells them you're okay with it.
mhm.
And I love Channing for saying this. There are more of us than there are of them, and I truly believe there are more of us that believe the way that we believe, that we
Yeah.
believe that Palestine should be a free country. Okay,
Mhm.
like that what Israel doing is some bullshit. Like at the end of the day, we're all on this planet, and she doing the best she can, but we not helping her at all. Okay.
No, we're not making it easy. We are certainly not.
Um, but I do want to shout out before we switch on to the deck. Isaiah Martin. He is a 27-year-old running for Congress in Texas. Okay. Now I'm telling you, these young kids and this 2026 midterm is going to be very interesting. So again, make sure you check your registration all the time because they be playing them games and start to listen and get involved because those elections will be coming up very soon. And I we cannot concede to their bullying tactics.
Hmm.
We have to continue to speak up because they're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're like, they didn't like that. We'll try this. We'll try this. We'll try this. Support your local activists, support your local youth leaders that are, what I love about that age group, so he's 27, so he was born in what, in 98?
Eight.
He saw a
Yikes.
very different life than the rest of us. Okay. So
Yeah.
school shootings were common when he went to school. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all of that. And then in Georgia, running for governor, Rua Roman, she is actually a Georgia state representative. She was supposed to speak at the DNC, but she's a Palestinian American, and they did not allow her to speak at the DNC. But she is also running for governor for the state of Georgia. And I know there are other young people that I've seen that are coming out of the woodworks. And I would be very, 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 very surprised if a lot of congressional seats just went to other people. I would be very, very surprised if any of the older people that held seats would maintain their seats. Because, the youth know it's their future that they're trying to save, they're trying to plan for. And a lot of them want to save the planet because they want to live on it, they want it to be here for them. So RIP, Ashata Shakur, uh, Black Panther revolutionary, was accused and convicted of shooting a police officer, but was set free from prison. Or helped helped
Liberated?
liberated. I like that. Liberated from prison and lived the rest of her days with a $2 million bounty on her head in Cuba. And she passed away at 78. So this isn't new. And the Black Panther Party was in the mid to late 60s, and the government didn't like the Black people helping their people out and being collective. Guess what? Government fucked that up too. So they're
And as is their custom, stole the ideas and pawned it off as their own.
so you know, it's they're never gonna play by the rules, so neither should you at this point. Like you might as you got to stand up for yourself. We all of us have as much right to exist on this earth as anybody else do. You know, even if no matter how rich, poor, or indifferent you are, like whatever you look like, you're here. You have a purpose. Nobody can tell you any different. And sometimes your purpose is to get on people's nerves. Other times it's for a revolution. I think, every big change never came easy. And especially the changes in this country, any kind of liberation, whether it be women's rights, civil rights, gay and lesbian rights, trans rights, immigrant rights, everything comes at a vocal cost. Like people had to protest, people had to fight. Stonewall started because trans women were sick of getting the gay bars getting raided just because they were gay. So, none of us should go quietly. I don't want to. And if you don't want to listen to us, we don't care. But um we have a couple more shows, and then who knows what's going to happen, but you'll see us for the next couple weeks. But before we get out of here, I decided unshakable inner peace is what we needed today.
Oh, okay. After we vented our spleen a little on this episode. So yeah, let's get some peace now. That's a good antidote to all the
um
Aries and
I
Scorpio
picked
energy.
another one, and then I was like, I don't know. And it was a little too, I think some of the messages were a little too long, and so I was like, no, I think we're gonna do this. I definitely have used this before. This deck is by Shannon Kaiser. It is a deck to awaken and align with your true power. I love it. On the back, it says, learn to trust and believe in your true power. Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle cards, an interactive 44 deck card deck designed and written by acclaimed coach, teacher, speaker, author Shannon Kaiser. Offers empowering insights and practices to help you find peace and strength among the chaos. Won't
Thank
goddess
you,
do it,
Ross.
girl.
Mhm,
All
mhm.
right. Moon goddess Cassie with your moon goddess shirt on.
All right, pick it out.
She said, that's it. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Everyone is on their own journey. How can you focus more on your own path? Interestingly enough,
Oh.
I did say we all have a purpose.
And this is an Aries moon, after
Mhm,
all.
mhm, mhm. That is number 31. That does break down to four. Cass and I know a little bit about fours.
Mhm.
We'll keep it stable as long as we can. Okay. And then who knows? All right, guys. And I love how free she is, like flying through the cosmos. I just want you to look at the card. Don't worry about the words.
That dolphin.
What? Girl. She's okay, so clearly she's in the water. I'm saying but it's like water
but
and
it's
the
both, I
galaxy.
think, you
Yeah.
know.
When we dive deeper into a personal growth journey, we awaken to more of our natural essence. We start to see the path forward with more clarity, and this can invigorate us. You've pulled this card as a reminder that every person on this planet is on their own journey, and your path is for you. We all have the same destination to arrive at the truth of the love we are, but the ways we reach the awareness are differ. Know that you have different soul lessons from those around you. You can still honor your own growth while allowing others to be where they are. This calls for radical, compassionate acceptance. So often, we want those around us to be where we are or do what we want. But this is not the law of life. Let people be in their own time and space and focus on your own journey, and you will empower others with your presence, your divine assignment. There is nothing to change or fix about anyone. You don't need to make their lives better or try to save anyone. Only they can do that for themselves. Instead of giving so much attention to others, focus on your own path. You are on a very different path, and this requires faith and trust in yourself. This is an opportunity to look at where you have been giving power to others by trying to control how and who they are. Return to your power by staying on your own aligned path. There is great momentum here. Trust yourself and your divine plan. The additional meaning. The dolphin spirit animal represents harmony and balance. Dolphins are intelligent and in tune with their natural instincts. You may call on dolphin energy to help you realign, to center and focus on your own path with more joy. The dolphin is playful and doesn't take life too seriously. A further reminder to approach your life with more humor and joy. The question to ask: how can I focus more on my own path?
Or as the kids do.
Clock
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing because, as you said, this is Aries energy, and focusing on your own path does not mean ignoring your collective. It just means that you focusing on your own path will attract others who are focused on their own path, will attract others, will attract others. So, you being your best self and you leaning into that Aries confidence, boldness. Listen, every time you see Mariah Carey, she knows she's that bitch. Just remember that. And Mariah Carey's is a true Aries. But I encourage you guys this week, go back, look at your new moon intentions from March for the Aries new moon and see where you are, ask yourself some questions, and then really say, how can I focus more on my own path, and see what you come up with. We will see you lovely folks in a couple of weeks for the Libra new moon, which is, we're all switched around now. So it'll be closer to the end of the month. But we appreciate y'all always hanging out with us. If you're on the YouTuber, like, share, and subscribe. We should say that, I guess, more often if you want
Sure.
to. Because we're here. We like to chit chat. But with that, Cassie, I love you, girl.
I love you too.
It's all love, y'all. We out of here. Peace.